If I only had one word to describe Jim, it would probably be unselfish.
That word would probably be unique.
I would say he's genuine, humble, passionate,
focused.
Integrity.
Jim is guided by his moral compass to a degree that really stands out in his life and in his business.
I think the nominating committee did a really good job in choosing Jim. Certainly, he's been involved with the Paperboard Packaging Council for decades. Royal has been a member for many, many, many years. And Jim served on the board for about 10 years. Jim's also been very helpful. He opened up his plant for us for a wonderful technical and production meeting earlier in this year, 2010. And it was a great meeting. And so he has the industry part. For his own company, his success at Royal is phenomenal.
Jim is a leader, is an innovator, and there are many examples of both that we could talk about.
Jim really makes our industry look good. If there is a more generous and active corporate citizen in the Paperboard Packaging Council, I don't know who it is.
Royal Paper Box was founded in 1940 in a 7,000 square foot location in downtown Los Angeles. In 1941, Clary Hodges went to work for Royal in that location as a die maker. Jim Hodges was born in November 1945. In 1951, Royal Paper Box moved to a larger 30,000 square foot facility in an area known as Watts. In 1956, Clary Hodges, then Vice President of Operations, bought Royal with a group of outside investors and took control of the business. Jimmy, as he was known back then, began working at Royal Paper Box at the age of 15 and a half, hitching a ride to work with his dad. Royal Paper Box relocated to its current location in Montebello, California in 1965. When Jim returned from Vietnam in 1968, he began working full-time at Royal Paper Box.
Well, one insight I have with Jimmy, him and I are both Vietnam veterans, and we've shared some insights, some experiences, and I know anyone who's gone through that, you don't take things for granted, and you don't want to waste time. You want to be involved, and you want to make use of time. I've known him since I've been here at Royal. He worked in the plant at the time in gluing. I've known him for 29 years.
Jim took over the company after his father passed away. That was a challenge to him and in the organization. But he's been able to guide us over the years. He's been able to push us to change, to innovate, and to really put ourselves into a great niche market.
Royal Paper Box is a mid-sized company. They're an independent company. They have a one-plant operation, but they're a large one-plant operation. Their primary focus is on high-quality packaging. Their focus is on the pharmaceutical industry as well as the cosmetic industry. In addition, they produce a cross-section of general folding cartons for many, many different industries.
Jim actually took it to the next generation. Where this company was surviving, providing employment, Jim took technology and actually allowed this company to grow.
As Jim is a cautious person, he's still very adventurous. When he acquired a printing press, it was not just getting many printing units and coders and extended delivery. No, at that time, back in mid-1980s, early 80s, there was something called a dampener that could scrape off Hodges, and he was one of the very first ones, if not the first one, to do so. And he insisted on getting this on the press. That's obviously standard today. The other thing is they have, at Royal Paper Box, done water-based coating for many years. They were an innovator in that, I believe, starting late 70s, early 80s.
Converting Magazine has referred to Jim's plant as the cleanest print shop in the West, and I think they're probably right. When you go through there, you won't find a scrap of paper on the floor. Everything is in its place, and there's just a sense as you walk through the place that everyone knows why they're there, what their job is, and they're doing it. And they're doing it effectively. One of the things you recognize quickly when you tour Jim's operation is that he has set clear expectations but that the people there really own it. There's no one there in the custodial area. There's no one in quality control. Each person is responsible for their own production, for keeping their area clean, and it's an impressive operation. You go through there, you don't see anything on the floor as far as waste. You see everything in its place, and there's not a lot of extra space. This is a well-run, lean operation.
Jim is a very, very humble person. You know, he runs a very successful company, but he's more about helping people and not really thinking about anything other than, you know, helping families in the community.
He's directive. He sets guidelines and performance standards. He's supportive. He shows deep concerns or personal concerns for all the employees.
Jim leads by example, and he's always building teams. He's an individual who wants to create an environment where people are involved. And involved meaning that we figure things out together, and we buy in and we move forward on those ideas.
Jim has an amazing, compassionate side. His knowledge of human frailty and the fact that humans and people are going to make mistakes is amazing, and truly believes that our processes and our procedures need to compensate for that because it's simply a human condition.
Jim's also very detail-oriented, so he'll examine a problem at a very small level. Yet he's not a micromanager. He does not focus on the decisions that his folks generally make on a day-to-day basis. Rather, he works with them on sort of how does good decision-making take place and how would they be able to make a good decision over and over again based on changing circumstances.
He's got a great sense of humor, but outside he's also very analytical and he's strategic.
A big part of Royal's culture is its family atmosphere. We have people here that have been working for almost 50 years. It's truly an atmosphere that you feel like it's very warm, and people do care about each other.
What impresses me about Jim Hodges is his want to take care of other people first, whether it's employees or outside organizations, his support to the community, his ability to drive us to constantly hit his high standards.
I would describe Royal's success as directly related to our culture. And our culture is directly related to Jim's philosophy of doing what is right. Our employees trust in Royal to do what is right for them, and thereby they give their trust to Jim Hodges and do what's right for our customers.
Jim has shown that you can do well and do good at the same time. The biggest challenge in describing what Jim does in his community is that he really doesn't want anyone to know about it. But he has made a lot of difference for a lot of people and has done it quietly but effectively.
I think Jim has just been so active in our community behind the scenes. He's not a very visible donor, but his hands are in so many facets of our community. And
he supports 2 food banks that are right here at Royal. He supports the police department, fire department. We sponsor an elementary school. And globally, he's been involved with Christmas Child, and him and his friend Dr. Mel Cheatham, they traveled to Kenya and Central Asia, the Sudan, and so globally and locally, he is really involved with people.
He works with a lot of the elementary schools in the area here, and they sometimes parade through the plant here, taking a tour. So it's neat to see him working with younger people like that, especially elementary school.
this last Veterans Day, he donated 500 boxes to a project that the Y did in the community where we put together letters from our kids, toiletries, different articles, and sent them off to our soldiers in Iraq.
When we visited Jim's plant during the T&P meeting, he's got a fairly spacious operation there, but I noticed one part of the operation he did not take us through, and when we asked him about that, he really wanted to keep it kind of quiet, but he agreed to give us a tour after the main tour was done. What we found when we went through the door was that Jim has a good part of his operation set aside to run a food bank. They basically fund it and resource it, but with a mostly volunteer workforce, they're providing food through many churches and organizations there in the eastern side of Los Angeles to take care of the less fortunate in their community.
In the 10 years that I've known him, he's been involved with local schools, local churches, the YMCA, the police and fire department. He's been an avid supporter of them. He looks for opportunities to serve.
Operation Christmas Child is one of Jim's hobbies, one of the organizations that he invests his time and talent in. Because of his involvement with them, I think they are actually a better organization today. He has helped them in their distribution to streamline the process of getting the shoe boxes to the kids all over the world, and he has done it using his knowledge as a folding carton manufacturer. He has done it through generosity to that organization, but I think it's typical of the things Jim gets involved in. He doesn't just provide resources, he gets involved personally, and I think anything he touches, he makes better.
I was very pleased to learn that my good friend, Jim Hodges, has been awarded his industry's highest honor, the Paperboard Packing Council's Robert T. Gair Award for Lifetime Achievement. I don't know of anybody that deserves this more than Jim Hodges. Jim has been a great supporter of Samaritan's Purse and Operation Christmas Child. He has been a real friend, and he stood with us year after year. So I'm very honored to be able to say to my friend, congratulations and God bless you.
I can't imagine working for a better man. I am proud to be an employee of Royal Paper Box. I can't imagine working for somebody else. It truly is an honor to work for Jim Hodges at Royal Paper Box.